Located in central New Hampshire is a 1 mile oval with the affectionate name of the Magic Mile. For Andrew Draco, he's hoping for a bit of that magic to secure his championship lead with 4 races remaining in the 2020 AT&T Champ Car World Series. He starts 7th today. The gap in the points is 50 points exact. Steffi Porter-Kelly has a lot of ground to make up to contend for her 3rd IndyCar World Championship, and she starts 5th. She's outqualified Draco most of the season, but when it counts on the race day, Draco's been the most consistent. Can she stay in front of him? We're going to find out. It's an unusually hot day, 85 degrees. It's the hottest it's been all weekend, and will be posing a lot of challenges to drivers at the start of the race today. Talked about how much of a lead Draco has. It's 50 points to Porter-Kelly. In fact, there's only 4 drivers in the series right now within 100 points of Andrew Draco. The presumptive Rookie of the Year, Natalia Kurchenko, sits 3rd with 78 points behind Draco. So, quite a lot of gap for Kurchenko. Sakura Ishibashi is the only Alpine driver in the top 10 in points, sitting 86 points back from Draco. And her stepsister, Kinomitsu Kinoshita, sits level with her at 86 points back. But Kinoshita's on pole, as we can see. What can she make of it to try to put a challenge up for her first IndyCar World title? The hard compound tires are on the cars today. That means there should be about 2, maybe 3 pit stops, depending on how far the drivers can stretch the tires. It's definitely a very flexible strategy that will help carry the drivers here today. Kinoshita's on pole. Her first pole of the season. Her first pole since 2017. She had two pole positions in 2017. Brno and New Hampshire. Kaylee Zappa went on to win that race. Kaylee Zappa's got a lot of ground to make up. She's starting near the back of the field today. But it's not impossible. Isabel Espinosa. It's becoming more and more likely that she's not going to be on the Champ Car grid in 2021. Where is she going to end up? The entries are closing rapidly. Sakura Ishibashi, one of the drivers in championship contention, sits on the inside of row 2 next to Nicole Leckie. What can Ishibashi do? Can Ishibashi or Kinoshita close that gap? You're going to need to gain at least 20 points on Andrew Draco per race to take the title. Porter-Kelly's the inside of row 3. David Wessel in on the outside of row 3. Andrew Draco sitting in row 4, the inside of Syria Lundqvist, her best qualifying effort so far in her return to the Champ Car. She starts 8th. Cameron Jackson 9th. And Lucien Lachapelle sits up in 10th position, back in the top 10 after a struggling couple of rounds for the rookie Frenchman. So, all the championship contenders, minus Kurchenko, are in the top 10. Kurchenko's starting 12th. Ray Taylor starting 11th. Keisha Fox 13th. Mildred Moon 14th. So, a very stacked top 12 should make for some very interesting racing. Strategy is going to be key. It's all going to be about the pit stops when they happen and who can make the most out of the Firestone Firehawk tires. Talked about how the weather is super hot today. It's a very clear day, but it's very hot. 15 degrees hotter than what it was on Friday. Friday was 70 degrees. It was 74 degrees yesterday for qualifying, which is where we saw Kenosha take pole position. 85 degrees. That's going to mean a lot less grip, especially on the front tires. We could see a lot of dive bombs going in turns 1 and turn 3 as everyone tries to settle into a groove, especially on the restarts. That'll be quite a spectacle. We're less than 30 seconds away from the world's famous words in motorsports, so we'll send it down trackside to hear the command. Don't go anywhere.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there you hear the command from the 26 of best and fastest about to do battle over 2 hours, 300 miles. here in Loudon, New Hampshire. So we talked about how level it has to be for Kinoshita and Ishibashi to make up ground on Andrew Draco. 21.5 points a race they have to outscore him by. But we are green in New Hampshire. Kinoshita held it wide. Didn't want to chop off her stepsister's nose there. But here we go. Kinoshita's going to lead lap 1. Isabel Espinosa was able to clear to keep second place. Leckie takes third, starting the outside of row 2. Ishibashi drops down to fourth place. Draco and Wessel are going to be side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Wessel should give up the spot. Draco's already up to 6th, gained 1 spot. Porter-Kelly definitely not going to give him the spot early. Draco starting to fall through now. Siri Lundquist makes a pass, and Keisha Fox, her Cherokee GP teammate, very close behind. Draco's starting to lose positions. He's starting to fall back down the order. On the outside and not in a very favorable way. Ray Taylor trying to make the most of the situation. Christina Espinosa is starting way in the back. She's already gained 2 spots. Almost 3 wide behind her. Hofson trying to make battles with Ray Taylor and Espinosa. All eyes right now on Draco. He is falling down the order. He is battling to stay inside the top 10 at the moment. Not the start he was looking for. Both Cherokee GP cars in front. Alpine looking pretty strong with race pace so far right now in the early going. Draco going to try to make a send into turn 3. Fox trying to battle it off. Draco kind of on his own on the inside. Fox is going to defend. Holds the outside and makes it work. Ray Taylor going to try to follow. This is for the cusp of the top 10. Traffic is going to be paramount as we get through this first tire stint. And Draco is not having fun right now. Down to 10th. Esther Hobson knocking on the door to get in the top 10 as well. So Draco's not having a very fun day. So they start to try to sort themselves out further in the field. It's single file, mostly up front. Looks like there was lights there. There's a car in the pit lane. That is Jace Clark going a lap down. Might have been what the smoke was for. Looks like it was Jace Clark and Cody Blackman. Esther no, that's Hazel Cass. Her day's done. See if we can get a replay of that at some point when we get a chance. That's lap 9 for Lacasse. Her race is done. And the early goings. Jace Clark going to try to continue. So one driver already out, but it stays green. Interesting situation there. It's Kinoshita, Isabel Espinosa, and Nicole Leckie. We knew Lacasse was further down the field. But very unfortunate for her. Cass started 17th. Not a great qualifying position for her, and it looks like she's been tangled up with Blackman and Clark. Blackman off pace. Clark in the pit lane recovering some damage. And the Cass out very, very early on. So right now, this is a fantastic situation for both of the full-time Japanese drivers, and now it's side-by-side between Russell and Porter Kelly. Porter Kelly with a massive sin, and will clear David Russell. So a lot of battling going on. This gives Ishibashi and company in front a bit of breathing room, because Porter Kelly scrapping away with David Russell, having an absolute fight right now. And then you have the GP cars on the same page for the first time in what seems like forever. Lundqvist in front of Fox. Keisha Fox, this is her home race. As close as it's going to be, she comes from Bar Harbor, Maine. So this is as close to home race as she's going to get. David Russell, this is pretty close to home for him as well. From Ashbury, New Jersey. So a couple of New England drivers taking this race with a bit of pride. For everyone else, it's all about wins. It is all about wins. Cameron Jackson, despite being the fastest in both practice sessions, nowhere so far in the early going, battling just to stay in the top half of the field. Looking at Porter Kelly, she is second in line right now. She's sitting fifth. If things were to finish right now, obviously it's not going to. We've got so much of the race to go. But if things were to finish right now, Porter Kelly would gain 20 points in the championship. Now she gained 10 points, excuse me. Kenosha would gain 20. Now Kenosha would gain 30. Kenosha would gain 30 on that. It's 50 to 20. I can't know. But it's already 2x2. That is for 6th. Both the Cherokee GP cars are very racy right now. And the Phantom Motors cars are caught napping. So Suri Lundqvist clears Russell, and not sure if Lundqvist can catch up. Keisha Fox is getting ready to pick off one of the Phantom Motors cars as well. So Keisha Fox is looking fantastic form right now. Both the Cherokee GP cars doing fantastic right now. Keisha Fox absolutely scrapping away. Cameron Jackson side by side with Lucian Latipo further to the back. That's about 15. Keisha Fox, as she tries to work her way around David Russell, the outside line seems to be just as prominent as the inside line if you can make a run happen. Not very often we see that at New Hampshire. So it's all about timing the runs. Cameron Jackson continues to fall further behind. Now he's right in front of Kaylee Zappa, who'll be leaving the team at the end of the year for Swift Autosport. Very impressive so far in the early going. Very, very impressive for Nicole Leckie, the winner at Watkins Glen. Trying to make fine form to stay in the top 10 in points. As we see Keisha Fox go side by side with David Russell through turns 1 and 2, side by side going down the backstretch. Still side by side through 3 and 4. Russell's not giving it up, but Keisha Fox has the pace. Russell's going to try to send it a little bit further through turns 1 and 2 this time around. Keisha Fox keeps it level. Is she going to give up the fight here? No, she's still able to pull the inside. They're side by side almost for 2 full laps. Keisha Fox sends it in, has more grip, and will clear. So Phantom Motorsports have been caught napping big time. They're starting 8th and 9th after starting 6th and 7th at the start. So David Wessel's a bit of the cork in the bottle is what it looks like right now. Sitting well up there. But how far is he going to stay? Is he going to give his team a championship leader? Is he going to give Andrew Draco any wiggle room at all? So we're going to find out. Draco's not going to wait to find out, though. Draco's trying to make a move, trying to get closer to that top 5. And Keisha Fox is playing devil's advocate right now, helping Russell with the draft. It is an interesting accordion effect. Now it's 2x2, 3 rows in. Who would have thought that at New Hampshire? It is a lightning in a bottle moment right now. Draco has nowhere to go, and now he's about to get pipped by Christina Espinoza and Esther Hofston in the inside line if things go their way. Cameron Jackson's right in line for a shot at it too. It is absolutely crazy. And Keisha Fox with issues. Keisha Fox with issues. She drops down the order. Once again, in issues with one of the Cherokee GP cars early in the race. She's not going to be starting last. But this might draw to caution. She's not going to make it back. Caution's out. She's not going to make it back. This helps the Phantom Motorsports cars big time. So Kenosha's going to get caught up here. So first caution on lap 31. And we're going to see most of the field come in here. Enough laps have been passed where tires make sense. Jace Clark's a lap down, so the pit's not open to him just yet. Jace Clark actually is 2 laps down. So now it's time for some action in the pit lane. Who's going to make the most of this first stop here? You see the top 2 were able to really make the most of it. And then Nicole Lectie was sitting in 3rd. So we'll see who races out here. We'll look at those before we come back out here. Some contact in the pit lane. That's Porticelli and Nicole Lectie. Porticelli's going to get second on the exit of pit lane. Suri Lundquist jumps to 4th. Christina Espinoza, Esther Hofsson. So Sakura Shibashi loses ground. Nowhere near as bad as David Wessel. David Wessel lost a lot of ground. Keisha Fox is back out. Cameron Jackson lost a ton of ground. But for Andrew Draco, this is horrible news. Andrew Draco's sitting 9th. He gained nothing out of that. Actually lost a position out of that exchange to Hofston and Christina Espinoza. Isabel Espinoza lost a lot of ground as well. But for Steffi Porticelli and Nicole Lectie, they got together exiting pit lane. But it's all for the better, because now they're sitting second and third. Letty lost nothing, and Portichelli gained 3 positions. Fantastic pit stop by the Striker Motorsports crew. Fantastic pit stop for Stefan Portichelli. So now we're going to see if we can go back. See if we can look at the crash that took out Esther Hofson here. So here's Hazel LeCap. She's side by side. She's in the thick of it. See what happens here before we go back to green here. Neri chops down. Oh! That is a very bizarre accident. It seemed like Clark was trying to move into a gap between... Was it between Lacasse and Marcelli? It looks like, yeah, between Patrick Marcelli and Hazel Lacasse. That's what it looks like. And just too much carrying speed. And into the wall Lacasse goes, ending her day and putting Jace Clark 2 laps down. But now we're back to green flag racing. Just in time. See the fastest lap for Kenosha, 22.9. It's not the fastest. 22.7 is the fastest by Isabel Espinosa, and Portichelli is trying to go for the race lead. Everyone in the top 3 have already won a race this season. Portichelli won Homestead, Leckie won Watkins Glen, Kenosha won Valkenburg. I don't think any of them would complain about winning another one, and Suri Lundqvist is sitting behind, wanting to get back in victory lane. And her return to Champ Car Racing. She spent 4.5 years in Formula One driving for Renault. He's come back, had a bit of a rough stretch as far as luck goes, and there is more smoke. That's Kurachenko. Again, no caution. But someone else has had issues in turn 3, and it could be David Wessel as well. We'll have to catch up to that when we get to it. Keisha Fox 2 laps down, Jace Clark 2 laps down, Natalia Kurachenko won that down, but she might be out of it. Looks like it was just Kurachenko, but it looks like Wessel could be part of it. Clark and Keisha Fox are going at it, so Clark's not faring too bad pace-wise compared to the damage. So we're keeping eyes on Kenosha here. Kenosha, Portichelli, and Leckie. Leckie trying to get past Portichelli. Portichelli had a chance at Kenosha on the restart. And behind these 3, it is Lundqvist, Espinosa, and Esther Hofson. Well, both Espinosas are right there. Isabel sitting just behind Esther Hofson in 8th position. Andrew Draco sitting in 9th. Ronald Walker sitting in 10th. So Apex has had a bit of an uptick in performance. Cody Blackman got in the top 10 2 weeks ago in Mid-Ohio. So Apex trying to put some performance out before the season ends. Suri Lundqvist making a look on the inside of Nicole Leckie. They both competed for a couple years in F1 together. Leckie with Mercedes, Lundqvist with Renault. In fact, all of the top four right now have been in Formula One in the past. Kenosha, 2012 world champion. Portichelli, 2014 world champion. And then you have two that have won races in F1. They've won Grand Prix, but they've never won the championship. Leckie and Siri Lundqvist. There's a bit of comparison right now going on between those top four, and you have one of the best drivers in open wheel racing, and it's almost a three-wide move between Christina Espinoza and Sakura Ishibashi. As far as the top six goes, Christina Espinoza is the only one that's been in champ for her entire career. Ishibashi comes from the world of endurance racing, 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Daytona, 12 hours of Sebring. That was her forte. Whereas this is what Christina Espinoza's done her entire life. So a lot of international talent battling near the front here in New Hampshire in the early goings. We are approaching lap 50, and the top three is starting to break away as fourth on down start the battle. See, Christina Espinoza moves into fourth, taking advantage of Siri Lundqvist being caught off guard by the defense of Nicole Leckie. Siri Lundqvist sits firmly in fifth now, a bit of a gap between her and Sakura Ishibashi. Ishibashi had to backpedal a little bit to give her room, but now she's stuck in the grips of Esther Hofson. Isabel Espinoza's dropped down behind Angie Draco. Draco's now sitting at 8th, and it's Isabel Espinoza, Ronald Walker, and then Kaylee Zappa sitting 11th. Brady Taylor sitting 12th. Mildred Moon, Patrick Marcelli trying to make a move on Moon now. Inside of turn 1. Very much a give and take racetrack, but it's two lines for open wheel cars. In a stock car, it's mostly a single file race, very processional. That same single line is shared by two champ cars right now, and it is absolutely fantastic, especially further in the grid. Cameron Jackson, despite being the fastest on the track at the time on Friday, having a very rough go of it so far today. Leckie's falling back a little bit to Christina Espinoza. Becoming very much a two-horse race right now. Between Kenosha and Portichelli. Portichelli making a move for the lead on Kenosha here. She's going to clear. We don't see that very often. Not on fresh tires, anyway. I'm expecting a little bit more of a battle, but that's what Portichelli needed. She needed to sail through turns 3 and 4 and get away. Draco is mired in traffic. She would cut the lead in the championship in half. And Draco's not having an easy go of it by any stretch of the imagination. Very rough time for Draco as he sits down in 8th. Porticelli to the front. Kenosha to 2nd. Lecty 3rd. Top 6 are all in a blanket behind Porticelli. Lecty trying to battle off Espinoza here. Espinoza trying to battle off Suri Lundqvist. Is Porticelli going to be able to run away from this one? Lecty's dropped down to 4th. Christine Espinoza made it work that time. We're looking at Kenosha as he tries to make up a little bit of ground on Porticelli. Cuts down by 400ths. Vitaly Kurichenko going to be wounded, so there will be lap traffic at some point in the next 30 laps. Cut it down big time that time. 3/10. Now Kenosha's there. The move on was gathered when Christina Espinoza cleared Lecty. That was the cue. And now Suri Lundqvist is moving past Nicole Lecty for 4th. These two have also a little bit of experience in Formula One. Although Lundqvist started in Champ Car Racing back in 2012, Lecty didn't get into it until 2017. So Ishibashi moves up to the top 5, so Lecty's probably burnt through a decent amount of her tires so far. That or the tires are overheating. Overheating can be a massive problem, especially the front end. Front end grips is paramount here in Loudon. Ishibashi's already going up to 4th. Esther Hobson's trying to follow. Hobson's had a rough season of it. Got podium at Phillip Island, but top 10s have been fewer and far between for her ever since the team in all has been struggling. But we know they're returning next year. So momentum at this point for her is almost invaluable. And Andrew Draco just sitting in 8th, biding his time. He knows he's not going to be able to pick anything from these 3. Right in front of him right now. He might be able to pick off Lecty, but he's got to wait his time. Draco and Phantom Motors in general have been a very methodical team. They botched a really bad pit stop for David Wessel there. Suffered all the way to the back and ended up being tangled up with Natalia Kurichenko. So his day is kind of in free-fall mode, but for Andrew Draco, it's all about damage limitation. Ron Walker sitting firmly in 10th, Haley Zapp at 11th. Patrick Marcelli not too far from the top 10. If both Eastern Atlantic cars can get the top 10, that'd be the first time all season that they'd be able to do so. See Brad Neri, news dropped that he was being demoted to Atlantics after initially being signed to the Champ Car team. Saw him drive with an absolute anger at Mid-Ohio 2 weeks ago. Fortunately, that same anger is not feeling any success here. Cameron Jackson having a rough go of it. Not as rough as David Wessel. Now Kurachenko not on the lead lap, so David Wilson will be the last car on the lead lap. See how easy she makes it for her teammate here to try to get by. It's 0.8 of a second between her and Christina Espinosa. That's almost as far as it fell before they gain time. And here they go gain time. Again, dirty air could be a bit of an issue as well. Yes, this is half a second. Wow. Gaining half a second in a 1 mile lap. That is impressive. Bit of a checkup here. That is not good. Porter-Kelly was hoping that would work out a little bit differently. Now it's Christina Espinosa on point. And the top 5 are all back together. Isabel Espinosa's back on the gearbox. Andrew Draco trying to harass him for 8th. Christina Espinosa going to try to get past Natalia Kurachenko. Kurachenko holding the outside line. And she has fresher tires by default. So this is going to be a bit of a frustrating thing for Christina Espinosa, but Porter-Kelly's going to try to follow her through. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Porter-Kelly has to sit behind her teammate. Now she's going to try to make something happen on the backstretch, but she's lost a little bit of time. So Kurachenko's trying her best right now. Seems like it's all in straight line speed for Kurachenko. That's where she's losing. It seems like a lot of drag on the car. But Porter-Kelly's finally going to get by. And now it's going to be up to Kinoshita, Lundqvist, and Ishibashi to do the same. Lundqvist moves to the inside of Kinoshita, so Kinoshita's not going to make anything happen here unless she goes on the outside. Now we're looking at Porter-Kelly as she tries to close the gap back down. It is absolute pandemonium behind Kurachenko. Kurachenko is not making it easy for anybody, nor does she have to. Draco's picked off Hofsson, so Draco's up to 7th. This is helping Hofsson. This is not what Porter-Kelly needed. But they are 2 by 2 behind Kurachenko. Shows how strong of a car Kurachenko's got to be wounded and still able to hold off most of the top 10. They're still 2 by 2. Lecty's going to move to the inside. Kinoshita's just trying so hard. They're losing so much time behind Kurachenko. Kinoshita's opened a bit of the floodgates here. Now 5 are going to try to go by. Keeping an eye on Kurachenko as Kinoshita and Lundqvist get by. Ishibashi's going to try to do the same. Draco's going to try to get past Lecty. Lecty's hoping Kurachenko's able to kind of put something together here. Draco stuck behind. Ishibashi and Lecty. Who is he going to try to push through here? The inside line's definitely got the preferred momentum right now. But Draco's just stuck in traffic. Just stuck mired in traffic. Now he's going to get by here. So is Lecty. He's been battling so hard to get past Kurachenko. This is interesting to watch. The leaders were thrown for a tailspin here, trying to get past Kurachenko. Their first experience with lap traffic at Loudon has not been a pleasant one. Really, Zappa's going to get by. Isabel Espinosa's going to get by. Marner Walker's going to have a little bit of trouble now. With Kurachenko sitting on the outside, Patrick Marcelli should be able to go when Ronald Walker goes. Walker's through. Marcelli has a nose in front of her, so he should be able to, on the straightaway, should be able to pull something away here. And he does. So that's the leaders through. And the gap is closing. It was almost 1 1/4 seconds between the top two. That's down to 8/10. Keeping an eye on Porter Kelly here as she tries to close down. It's staying about a second now between Espinosa and Porter Kelly. Lundqvist showing in third, trying to get on the podium. We're almost a third of the way through this race, 12 laps away. Draco here sitting in 6th, just outside the top 5. Ezra Hofson's been very racy, so has Haley Zappa. Isabel Espinosa's got a fast car as well. Nicole Lecty might have used up too much tires. Stepsisters battling out for 4th and 5th. Andrew Draco sitting behind them. The distance been a lot nicer. But he's still not out of it yet. A lot of ground to make up to get back close to the podium. And a lot of very racy cars in front of him. Trying to make a move on Ishibashi there. Trying to take the top 5 away. He's got to be very careful because Esther Hofson is in a very, very good situation right now. Hofson's got nothing to lose. Hofson, Zappa, Isabel Espinosa, none of them have anything to lose right now. So they're racing particularly hard. That makes life for Draco a bit difficult as Hofson's right on his gearbox. She'll move to the inside. Not gonna make it happen in turns 3 and 4. She's gotta have a little bit more help there. It is Draco's sitting right smack dab in the middle of a whole bunch of good cars. Marcelli's close to top 10, sitting 11th. I think this is a first. All but Draco right now in the top 10 are women. Interesting moment in history right now. Very close to the entire top 10 being women. For the first time, I believe, ever. It'll be difficult to make an actual full top 10 happen, especially with Lauren Walker, Patrick Marcelli being between Mildred Moon and the top 10. But it's interesting to see. The entire top 5 is women. Draco's the in-between. Hofson, Zappa, Isabel Espinoza, and Nicole Leckie before it goes to Marcelli, Walker, and then Mildred Moon, with Lucian Latchful sitting in 14th position. Zappa got past Hofson there. Hofson's trying to return the favor. They're side by side behind Draco. Kenosha pulled the lead out of it. So now it's a 4-car fight for the lead once again. And then it's a gap between them and Ishibashi. Draco still sitting in 6th. It's a bit of an easier go as the cars behind him are fighting. It's LaChapelle and Gerard Perth, Tyler Parker, Mona LaRoe, Cody Blackman, Kurachenko's holding up people still, Brad Neri, Ray Taylor, Keisha Fox is on the lead lap, Cameron Jackson, Jace Clark is on the lead lap, and then David Wessler, who is on the lead lap, but is the last car on the lead lap. It's a 4-car breakaway for the top 4, battling for the podium. Ishibashi's trying to close the gap a little bit. Was 2 seconds flat from the leader that time around. Looking at the battle for 7th right now. They are battling really hard, Hofson and Kelly Zappa. Marcelli's falling back a little bit. Leckie's trying to battle back here on Isabel Espinoza. He was sitting as high as 3rd at one point earlier in the race. We're over 1/3 of the way through. Mildred Moon trying to get past Nicole Leckie here. But now it's Ronald Walker trying to move close to the top 10. Moon's in the top 10 now. Leckie's not having a great go of it right now. The tires have fallen away. So it's Christina Espinosa leading. Then it's a bit of a gap before you get to Siri Lundqvist, almost a second. Then it's Kamitsa Kenosha to the pole sitter, and then Stephanie Porter-Kelly sitting in 4th. It's not great when Andrew Draco sitting in 6th position. That gain is not very much. Porter-Kelly would be more than 133 points. Draco sitting at 28. Remember that all the drivers pit on lap 30, so the pit window's a bit skewed now. Drivers should be able to go anywhere from about lap 115 to about lap 105. Wow. We're going to wait and see what's going on there. So people are pitting early. So now it's Siri Lundqvist to the lead. Looks like Lundqvist is coming in this time. She's slowing down. No, she's not. She's still going. It's just that Wessel's faster because he pit before. So the strategy here is going to be interesting. But you can tell the tire difference. That is absolutely sure. So the longer you stay out, she's hoping for traffic. That's what she's hoping for right now. She's hoping drivers get stuck in traffic or a yellow happens. She stays out. Ishibashi, Draco. Oh, that was almost not good. Lechty missed the commitment line, so she has to go another lap. Not ideal for Lechty, but she was able to avoid the pit wall. As a result. And now Lundqvist comes in. Want to make sure she led several laps. LaChapelle's already pit. So we'll see. The drivers that pit first should be able to cycle out in front here. So it should theoretically be around Isabel Espinosa. It's just a matter of who. LaChapelle's not pit yet. He is the race leader. And he is coming in this time. Neri stays out. That's because they've already pit. Oh, and there's a big crash. Car upside down. Who is that? That looks like Kenosha. Looks like Kenosha, and everyone steers clear of Kenosha upside down at the exit of turn 4. And that is Kenosha. Kenosha, her race is done. Caution is out. As pit cycle finishes up, this is going to be a massive unfurling of the flag. Brad Neri is in the lead, has not yet pit. So that is a rough move. What is Ronald Walker doing? Neri pits. Holy cow. We're going to try to sort this out for you guys. I believe Brad Neri's the last driver on the lead lap. Or very close to it. We're not sure who. We're going to try to go back here. Or try to go back here. We'll get a look at it. So here's what it looks like. This is Kinoshita. And there's a checkup here because that is Kurachenko, and that is a hard hit for Kinoshita. And that's Mildred Moon and Tyler Parker involved in that accident. And Sakura Ishibashi did a great job of avoiding that coming out. She is unsighted. She sees the crash happening, but no idea where. So we'll look to see, because she's on fresher tires than everyone else. And everyone just checks up. And that is a horrific impact. Look at it in real time here. She's on the fresher tires. Everyone else is on older tires. And that gap just closes. With Kurachenko being on the apron. That is just a horrific crash. I have to wonder what happened here. What happened with She dives down. Everyone's checked up behind her. And the gap just closes. So now it's Siri Lundqvist leading. Siri Lundqvist leads. Ronald Walker, Lucian Lachapelle, and Brad Neri. Everyone else in danger of going a lap down. But we are back to green, and this is going to be a very interesting restart. Lundqvist immediately looking to the inside of Clark. But our first big crash of the day is in part due to Tyler Parker, Mildred Moon, and Kinumitsu Kinoshita. Kinoshita going for a wild ride. But now this puts top four at a severe advantage. Top four are an extreme advantage unless a caution comes out and resets everything. So this is going to be interesting, as now the leaders are all battling traffic. Not sure what's going to work better, the outside or the inside. Lundqvist took the outside, and it defended well. Awkward position to be in if you're not these four. It's an awkward position even more if you are these four. The only one that has viable credibility in that lead position is Lundqvist right now. Ronald Walker was no higher than 10th. Neri was close to a lap down. LaChapelle was outside the top 10. And they're all clumped together because of their strategy. Lundqvist making a move on Cameron Jackson here. She's trying to pick off traffic one by one. She's got the car to do it. Everyone else is just in a surreal position of having to fight to stay on the lead lap. They're having to outrun the leader. It's a very interesting position to be in. Lundqvist is making it work there. She's picking off drivers one at a time. Neri is sitting in a very lucky third position right now. Neri is probably just happy to be there. So the pole sitter is out of this one. Tenoshka out. She's in the infield care center right now, getting checked out. But she was able to get out of the car and get into the medical vehicle under her own power. Here, radio reports from Cameron Jackson complaining of just no pace in the car. Whatever it was that happened on Friday when it was cool conditions, 15 degrees hotter today, and that pace is completely gone from the 19 Honda. He's now one lap down. Sitting right behind Suri Lundqvist. Lundqvist is really able to take her time. She's got a car far faster than that of Ronald Walker, of Brad Neri, and Lucian LaChapelle. So she can really take her time here. And she's got the car that she can go the longest distance on a stop. So really she can keep herself afloat right here, knowing that at the very worst, she's got 2 pit stops where she's going to lose 5 seconds apiece. On a 22-second lap, she's going to be perfectly fine. Andrew Draco was completely stuffed on that pit stop too, as he's sitting way outside the top 10, close to the bottom of the table. Yeah, Andrew Draco's sitting 10th. He's sitting right there, right on the cusp of going a lap down. All 3 of the cars involved in that accident are out of the race. Stella Parker, Mildred Moon, they were able to get back under their own power. Timmy Spinoza sent to the infield center of the fence. Her car rolled over. That's a mandatory precaution. So she was moving under her own power. Ronald Walker's trying to challenge. The only reason Walker is this close is because of the traffic, and Ronald Walker goes side by side. Ronald Walker's going to lead his first laps in what feels like ever. Actually, I think this is his first lap sled of the season. Ronald Walker on point. What a time for Apex. But that time's going to come to an end pretty quick. Lundqvist has the car. But for the little team from New Zealand, it's the little team that could. They let another one right there. 2 laps led. Everyone else is trying to run just to stay on the lead lap. It is an interesting battle. Side by side for the lead. Halfway down the field is where we'll find Suri Lundqvist and Ronald Walker. Ronald Walker, Brad Neri, almost assured podiums, unless Lucian LaChapelle can get something happening. But LaChapelle seems to be struggling the most right now with the car. Of the 4 cars that are in this group, it's Isabel Spinoza leading 5th. She's leading this long line of cars, but she's only 5th. Then it's Patrick Marcelli, Stephanie Porter Kelly, Nicole Blackby, Sakura Shibashi, then Andrew Draco down in 10th. What an interesting timeline. Lundqvist getting challenged by Neri. Ronald Walker's navigating traffic pretty well right now. He's already put David Wessel behind him. So Ronald Walker has the chance to win his first ever Champ Car race. Siri Lundqvist has been to victory lane. She knows what that's like. Ronald Walker hasn't. Ronald Walker's not been there before. And that is Porticelli in the wall. Porticelli in the wall. And everyone's got to split the middle. Second place in the championship having issues now. Oh boy. So look at Latchfeld now. Because of all that separating, Neri's taken second away. Lundqvist sitting down in third. Craziness not helping Lundqvist's struggle right now. Porticelli's now a lap down. That's an interesting thing to see. Lundqvist getting past Dave Wessel here, so now things are starting to calm down in the back. But there's Ronald Walker. There's the race leader right now. What a timeline we're living in right now. Ronald Walker is leading New Hampshire. I guess more importantly, the gap between the leaders and Isabel Espinosa has grown. It was 20 seconds even. Now it's 21 and a half. Ronald Walker trying to keep a little bit of distance here. Cameron Jackson is going to try to get a lap back. He's allowed to do that. But Cameron Jackson's struggling quite heavily. Not as much as Porticelli is right now. Not really what any of the championship contenders needed. Keeping an eye on Lundqvist because she's got the long run pace to make it happen. Gearbox. Ronald Walker's trying very hard to keep the race lead right now as we approach halfway. We're about half a mile from halfway. And Ronald Walker is making the most of the opportunity, by and far. Halfway through the NOS Energy 300. It's Ronald Walker, Brad Neri, and Siri Lundqvist top three. What a race. What a race. It's only been halfway. What a go of it. Neri trying to make something happen. Cameron Jackson is trying to get a lap back here. Gerard First trying to stay on the lead lap. The same with Esther Hofson. So a lot of drivers battling for something a little bit different right now. Ronald Walker defends against Brad Neri quite convincingly. It'll be interesting to see how Swiss Autosport reacts to Brad Neri potentially not only bringing the team his first podium in ages, but potentially having the ability to win, despite being demoted to Atlantics for next year. For those just now tuning in, it has been a roller coaster race. We're looking at the race leader. You see all the cars in front of Ronald Walker. Ronald Walker is the race leader. Brad Neri is second. Siri Lundqvist is third. Andrew Draco has watched his championship competitors kind of just fall to the wayside. Porter Kelly's had trouble, was in the wall at one point. She's now a lap down. Andrew Draco is the last car on the lead lap. So both the championship leaders right now could be a lap down before too long. Lundqvist has just gotten clear of Kurachenko. But it's Walker, Neri, Lundqvist, LaChapelle top four, and it's not even close. Fifth place, Isabel Espinosa's 22.6 seconds behind in fifth. Then it's Cody Blackman, the other Apex car, sitting in sixth. Patrick Marcelli, Nicole Leckie, Sakura Ishibashi, Kaylee Zappa, Esther Hofson, Andrew Draco battling with with Gerard First, just to try to stay one car ahead of the race leader. Porter Kelly's first car one lap down, and then it's Cameron Jackson, Ray Taylor. Two laps down is where you'll find Keisha Fox, Simona LaRoe, David Wessel, and then Jace Clark is 3 laps down, and Tyler Kurchenko 6 laps down. And then 5 cars out of this race at the moment. Tyler Parker, Mildred Moon, Kumiko Kinoshita, who flipped in an accident with Moon and Parker at lap 115. And then Christina Espinosa out with a gearbox, and Hazel DeCasse, the very first retirement from the race, very early on, lap 31. Interesting thing to note is that Apex has not installed upgrades. Apex is passing on upgrades, has passed all year. So here we are, lap 164. We're looking at it, and there's someone with a blown engine. That is Kaylee Zappa. Kaylee Zappa with a blown engine. She's going to try to make it back to pit lane, but that stacks everyone up. Brad Neri is now inside of Ronald Walker. Top four are all side by side. Brad Neri trying to lead laps here for the first time since Pocono. And Brad Neri's got the line. Struggle bus there for Ronald Walker. As now we look at the race leader and second place. It's Brad Neri and Lucian Lachapa. Lachapa has a podium. Neri does not. But Neri is in an absolutely fantastic position to get one. So it's Neri, LaChapelle, then Walker and Lundqvist. Lundqvist and Walker both stuck on the outside lane, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. So we're keeping an eye on it. Andrew Draco's just fighting to stay in the top 10 because the leaders are picking through this traffic quite successfully. But that's kind of to be expected because these cars were tuned to kind of battle through traffic. They were expecting to be in the back. They weren't expecting to be battling for the lead. So they're doing quite well for themselves. Cody Blackman is now in 5th position, 4 seconds ahead of Sakura Ishibashi. So Apex is having its best weekend ever. So here's Neri. He's right on the gearbox of Andrew Draco. So Draco's sweating it out right now. Draco is trying to move so fast. Draco's trying to avoid getting lapped as much as he can because that puts him on the same plane as Porter Kelly. So Draco's trying really hard. Simona LaRoe has some pretty significant pace. She's been picking off people here. Marcelli's sitting in the top 10 as well. Hobson. So Eastern Atlantic is having a good day. Phantom Motorsports is having a very bad day. Stryker Motorsports, even when they're having a bad day, they're having a great day because LaChapelle sitting in second with a chance to win. That's kind of how the team works. That team has got the team championship essentially locked up. And once again, now it's Neri and Draco nose to tail one more time, and then it's Isabel Espinosa. Isabel Espinosa has not been lapped on merit since Brno early in the season. Draco, we have to really think about the last time Draco was lapped. He was close to it at Richmond, but he wasn't. He stayed in the top 10. He finished 10th at Richmond. But it never happened. Draco could very well be lapped today. Maybe Kentucky? I don't believe Kentucky. Maybe Kentucky. Maybe Kentucky, because there's only like 3 cars on the lap at Kentucky. I don't recall if Kentucky was it. Either way, Draco was top 10 there. So the top 10 streak right now, very safe to continue as he gets by Isabel Espinosa. He's picking off people for Neri one by one. But everyone beyond Lecty is a bit out of touch. And there's Neri going on Andrew Draco right now. Put this in the record books. Draco fighting for everything he's worth right now just to stay ahead of Brad Neri. What a timeline. So keep an eye on Neri here. It's a second between him and Latchbell. Latchbell's still in with traffic. Ronald Walker, who led a decent chunk of this middle stint, is sitting down in 4th again, but again, fairly safe. It's Apex 4th and 5th right now, so I don't think they're complaining at all. Andrew Draco has not led a single lap this race. Draco was one of the favorites we were expecting coming in. He was going to be able to slice through traffic and make it happen. Him and David Wessel were both coming in as favorites. Wessel is 3 laps down. Andrew Draco's on the verge of going 1 lap down. And we have more than 115 laps to go. Get your newspapers ready. Neri is just harassing Draco right now. For people that are wondering, the nearest pit cycle, there is another pit stop coming. It's going to be closer to lap. It's going to be... Everyone pit early. So we should be seeing another pit stop about lap 210, 200, 210. Depending on, so there's some people in the pit lane now. So we're not sure what's going on there. That is David Wessel. David Wessel's off sequence, so that may not matter. No, some people are coming in. Lecty's in. So some people are coming in early. Some people know they're not going to make it on another stop. They got to make at least one more stop after this. So some people are kind of giving it in to doing 2 more stops to finish this race. Brad Neri is past Andrew Draco. LaChapelle's about to do the exact same thing. The championship leader's just been passed by 2 rookies and put 1 lap down. This is the timeline we're in right now. The championship leader is just trying to stay on the lead lap to Brad Neri and Lucien Lachapelle. What in the world? What in the world? But the pit cycle started a bit early. Some people have come in knowing they are going to need another stop. So that strategy is now playing out. Now we've got a two-set strategy. Now there's people that are going to try to make it to 200 to 210 to try to make it on one more stop. Because 90 is the absolute furthest you can go. And we're close to that limit. We're not there yet, but we're close to that limit. So now we're looking at Lachapelle. Draco has come in the pit lane. Jace Clark coming out of pit lane. Wesler's already pit. And the leaders are coming in. So now this is going to shake up things. But they can kind of take that risk because they had 19 seconds to Cody Blackman. They had a lot of time. And now everyone else has to kind of figure it out. Everyone else has got to figure out where they're going to be. This is such an interesting dilemma. Looking at Simona LaRose, wow. Simona LaRose, I don't believe, is pit. They're off sequence, which makes things really interesting. It should, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Walker and... We want to say it's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be... Neri, Walker... They came out together. They came out really close. There's the battle for the lead right now. And Andrew Draco still one lap down. Does not get a lap back out of this. Actually, he just might. But the leaders are all there now. He gets back on the lead lap there. We believe. No. He's not even top 10. He's still technically one lap down. This is going to be really interesting. Neri, Walker, Lundqvist, all nose to tail. Front wing to gearbox. 1, 2, 3. Lachapelle lost time on that pit stop. Not a great look for Lachapelle, but sitting firmly in 4th position. Simona LaRose leading this race. So this isn't even about... This is theoretically for the lead, but if a caution comes out now, Simona LaRose got the race lead. But there she is. She's not pit in a bit. She's trying to stretch it out. She's seen what this has done, and this is intense. This is some racing up New Hampshire. They are trying to run away. So that's Jace Clark, who had issues early on. He was involved in the accident with Hazel Cass. That's Gerard Perth, so Neri's still getting harassed here. Lachapelle got up to 2nd, so it's Lachapelle. Then it is Siri Lundqvist. Steffi Porticali 1 lap down. Wessel's multiple laps down, and that's side by side. Neri and Draco. Wheel to wheel. Side pod to side pod. And that's not even for position. That's just for, I think, for bragging rights at this point. Neri wants to put Draco 1 lap down. Put the World Championship leader 1 lap down. Show what you're about. This is an interesting timeline. Draco survives that one. But Neri right now, he's more worried about the cars directly behind him, LaChapelle and Lundqvist, who are still mired in that traffic. So Neri right now sitting really good. Holy cow. Someone in the pit lane, looks like that might be Marcelli. Might potentially be Marcelli. Yeah, that is Marcelli. Brad Neri doesn't have to push that hard. He's just electing to. Neri got past Draco with relative ease there. So Neri's sitting back ahead of the World Championship leader. Neri's got the last 4 races, well, really the last 5. Mid-Ohio was a bad race for him. He ended up giving Honda its best run of the season so far, the full 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sweep at Ohio. But that anger's carried over. It's carried over in a tremendous fashion. Knowing that he's been replaced after signing a 3-year contract to be in that 50 car, knowing that he's been replaced by Matthias Michelin. If he comes in and wins, an interesting perspective to be in. Brad Neri's lapped 3, including Christina Espinoza. 3 IndyCar World Champions. Portichelli's also an F1 World Champion, so that's... And so is Kenosha. Kenosha's out, which has given Neri the position to be in the lead. Neri can chalk up a lot of stats on this resume just from this race. You lapped an IndyCar World Champion, you lapped the championship leader, you lapped 2 IndyCar World Champions, an F1 World Champion, you lapped... You're close to lapping an Endurance World Champion in Sakura Ishibashi. You're walking away from an F3 champion in Lucien Lachapelle. You're walking away from Siri Lundqvist, who raced 5 years in F1 for factory Renault operations. And you did it with one of the most underfunded teams in the sport. We know there's at least one. We know there's one round of pit stops left in this race. But it's interesting seeing how that shaped up, because it's Neri, Lachapelle, Lundqvist, Walker, and then Nicole Leckie gained 20 seconds, almost 20 seconds exact, to get to 5th place. Cody Blackman only gained about 8 seconds. Isabel Espinosa's only gained 4. Sakura Shibashi's only gained 3. This will be a very, very interesting post-race debrief, a very interesting podium interview by Brad Neri. Mary's pulling away from Andrew Draco now. He's being harassed by Gerard Perth. LaChapelle sitting firmly in second at the moment. Then you have Siri Lundquist sitting pretty firmly in third. Then it's Ron Walker trying to get close. Then you have Nicole Lechty. There's Cody Blackman sitting in... That is 6th place, Cody Blackman. Then you see 7th and 8th, Isabel Espinosa in the yellow, red, and white. And then Sakura Shibashi center your screen. And there's Brad Neri. Starting lap 215 of 86 laps to go. 86 laps to go, 8 cars on the lead lap, 5 cars within 10 seconds of Brad Neri. Brad Neri from the island of Sardinia, just off the coast of Italy. Neri from the town of Cagliari. Very much a beach town, a picturesque resort town. You can kind of throw a pebble between the islands of Sardinia and Corsica in France. Two absolutely amazing places to vacation, and Brad Neri calls that home. Not very often we see athletes come from the island, though. But Brad Neri might just become one of the more popular ones. What an interesting world to live in for Brad Neri. Teams have the ability to buy out that contract and keep him in Champ Car if they so choose. But that'll be a very interesting... It'll be a very interesting talks, I feel, after this one. With a podium almost assured. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I think certainly conversation will start to head towards, does Neri belong in Champ Car? Does he deserve another full season? Does he deserve a season in a team and a car that is better funded, better equipped? A team that might already have an existing training program or a driver program to help him. Well, he hasn't really had a chance to get in. He debuted at Texas, ran 20 laps before his engine expired, and then really was thrown to the wolves at Toronto. He's really only run half the season. A lot of tracks he's never seen before. It's been a very interesting half a year for Brad. Case can be made that, yeah, a year in Olympics might help him. But if he's showing such prowess at a track so complicated, like New Hampshire, maybe he's got some skills that are already there. You just need to polish them. Are there teams willing to kind of take a dive on that? Something I think a lot of teams will have to ask. Brad Neri is still trying to pick off traffic here. He's getting past Ray Taylor. Or staying ahead of Ray Taylor now. And getting past Natalia Kurachenko. Siri Lundquist has dropped down to 7 seconds. Walker. Coming to 76 laps to go here in Loudon. Capacity crowd here. Been an absolute thriller of a race. We've had really one major accident, and that was with Kenosha. Kenosha's been checked and released from the Infield Care Center here in Loudon. She took a pretty nasty hit going into turn 4. You see some of the skid marks there from that accident. Taking a run down through the field where we look at Neri as Andrew Draco tries to stay right on his tail. It's Neri, LaChapelle, who's also in this group, just out of screen. Then it's Siri Lundquist looking for her first podium on her return to Champ Car action. Then it is Ronald Walker looking to improve on his best finish in Champ Car racing. Nicole Leckie sitting in 5th. Cody Blackman 6th. Isabel Espinosa 7th. Sakura Ishibashi 8th. Ishibashi's last car on the lead lap, 21.9 behind Brad Neri at the moment. Andrew Draco's first car 1 lap down, top 10 streak still going on. He's only finished outside the top 10 3 times this season. Hard to argue that he's not a deserved 2-time IndyCar World Champion with stats like that. Gerard Perth is 10th. You have Cameron Jackson 11th. Steffi Porter-Kelly down in 12th. Makes her fight for a 3rd IndyCar World Championship very, very difficult. Esther Hofston 13th. 14th is Ray Taylor. 15th is Keisha Fox. 16th is Simona LaRoe. Ray Taylor's Keisha Fox, Simona LaRoe 2 laps down. Same with David Wessel. David Wessel's last car 2 laps down. 3 laps down, we have 2 cars. 18th is Jace Clark. 19th is Patrick Marcelli. Marcelli off sequence. He pit kind of in between the pit cycles there, so he might end up in a better position when that's all said and done. And then you have Natalia Kurchenko 8 laps down. Kaylee Zappa's out with an engine failure. We saw her pull off. She made it to pit lane rather effortlessly. And then you have numerous accidents, and then Christina Espinosa, who led a part of this race, out with a gearbox failure. So 6 retirements, 20 cars still running. Caution is out. We're not sure why. And that is for LaChapelle. LaChapelle's out. And this is not what Andrew Draco needed. Draco's stuck 1 lap down. We're going to re-rack him here. This is going to be a bit of a showdown because now everyone's going to pit. So lead lap cars are going to stay on lead lap. They're going to pit on the same time. All the lap cars will come in the lap afterwards. So Andrew Draco did not need this. This puts him in peril because he's not a car that can handle traffic. He cannot handle all the dirty that's going to be thrown his way. He's going to be deep in the field here. But all these drivers have to pit. They cannot make it based on when they last pit. They last pit about lap 200. They cannot make it to the end from there. They have to pit now. So Brad Neri's... This doesn't help Brad Neri either, because a lot of the cars that were contending early in this race, Nicole Leckie, Siri Lundquist, now have the ability to refresh here. Sakura Ishibashi also has a chance to really make something happen here. She could be a big gain in the points haul here. She needs to outscore Andrew Draco by 21.5 points a race to make it happen. Leckie has issues coming out of her pit box. LaChapelle's going to go a lap down here. LaChapelle's actually already a lap down. Now they're going to start working on his car, trying to figure out what the issue is, try to get him out. All of the lap cars now in pit lane now. So this is going to be an interesting little tidbit here. So who's ready for a little bit of a sprint race to end this one, huh? See the capacity crowd. Grandstands go from turns 3 to turn 2. The backstretch is all RV parking and standing area. 8 cars on the lead lap. LaChapelle is going to be in between them. Simply because of where he exited pit lane. He was in pit lane before. Lecty's coming back into pit lane, so they've missed something on Lecty's car, so that's going to hurt her significantly in the long run. Andrew Draco's going to be in a bit of trouble here. Draco's sitting 8th, which, I mean, if you say 8th, not that bad. But 8th is the highest he can get right now. He cannot go higher. That is the ceiling for Andrew Draco. It is not a great one. It looks like they did a lug nut check. It seems like she had a loose wheel, but they fixed it. She's not going to go a lap down. She will stay on the lead lap. She will stay 7th now. Lights are on the safety car, which means that we're coming back to green flag racing this time with 65 laps to go. Brad Neri, Ronald Walker leading. Then it's Suri Lundquist, Cody Blackman, Sakura Shibashi, Isabel Espinosa, Lucian LaChapelle's in that mix, but he's essentially just there. He's 2 laps down. The first car 2 laps down. But we're back to green. And now the race leaders have the time to use clean air. First time they've had that in a very long time. And Brad Neri's being harassed by Ronald Walker. Siri Lundquist giving a little bit of space here. Cody Blackman sitting in 4th. It could be an Apex double podium by the time this one's over. Neri's trying to run away. Lundquist takes 2nd. Draco in serious trouble trying to make it. There's still issues for... So Nicole Lecty had to come back into pit lane. She entered a closed pit, so she had to serve a penalty. So now she is a lap down. Battle for 2nd right now. That's Lundquist and Ronald Walker. That was almost contact through turns 3 and 4. Lundquist trying to stay ahead here. It's Alpine power versus Mercedes power in a straight line. Alpine manages to make the clear. Cody Blackman sitting in 4th. He's just happy to be here at this point. This will be his best career finish. Lundquist trying to make up ground on Neri. Lundquist looking to get back to victory lane. gap is an even 1 second between Lundqvist and Neri. Neri trying to run away with it. The laps are starting to count down. Draco's doing the smart thing to do. He's keeping Sakura Ishibashi in his sights. She is the only championship contender right now who's going to finish better than Draco, as it stands. So him keeping Ishibashi in his sights ensures that, one, Draco's going to remain the first car 1 lap down. And 2, it also ensures that Ishibashi's not going to gain that many points. Ishibashi's also in a position where she needs to gain 20 points per race to make something magical happen. The gap between 5th and 7th is 4 points. Not a lot. Neither Ishibashi nor Draco have led laps at all today. So it's only a 4-point gap difference. The midfield, though, the midfield's about to take a tumble. With Ronald Walker and Cody Blackman sitting 3rd and 4th. Cameron Jackson sitting 8th, despite being 1 lap down and not complaining of not having pace. They figured something out because now he's sitting 8th. They've had a clean race. I think that's been the effort there for Cat Devil Racing, is just having a clean race. 2 of their cars are out. So a clean race for Cameron Jackson kind of redeems that a little bit. LM Competition have been nowhere. Mildred Moon's out. Ray Taylor is 2 laps down. Gerard Perth, 9th, 1 lap down. Stephanie Porter-Kelly has the ability to gain ground. She can battle Draco for position, but she's got traffic to take care of first, and she's got 52 laps to do it. It's all eyes on Lundqvist. They're trying, and it's about to be apex on apex. Blackman going to try to challenge his experienced teammate to take third, and he's going to do it relatively easily. Might have been a team decision there, trying to give Apex a chance to possibly win a race here. Interesting that they went with Cody Blackman. Cody Blackman's been on a roll. He had a great finish at Mid-Ohio, finished in the top 10. Now he's got the ability to chase down Lundqvist and Neri. They put their confidence in him. The Australians got some running to do. There's Blackman trying to make a run on Lundqvist. Doesn't work. Lundqvist had the outside line and made very good use of it. But the gap's opening up. Neri's opening up. A 1.2 second gap on Lundqvist here. Could be costly. Gap's back down to 1.01. For those just tuning in, this is a battle for second right now between Lundqvist and Blackman. Terry Lundqvist back in Champ Car Racing after competing 4.5 years in Renault. Cody Blackman looking for his first podium. Apex has not been on the podium at all this year, but they're looking to try to make something happen. They could possibly get a double podium out of this with Ronald Walker sitting in 4th. So both Apex cars sitting very well off right now. Sakura Ishibashi sitting almost a guaranteed 5th. Then Isabel Espinosa 6th. She's the last car on the lead lap. 6 cars on the lead lap. Amy Draco, World Championship leader, sitting 7th, 1 lap down. Top 2 of the championship, both a lap down. Porter-Kelly sitting in 10th. Cameron Jackson 9th, Gerard Perth in 8th. As you see the battle for second intensifying. Blackman had a very strong move to turn 3. Had to give all of it up, and now there's space for Kurachenko. But for Lundqvist, Kurchenko is 8 laps down. Actually, I think closer to 9 laps down now. So that was a lunge that Cody Blackman can afford to make if he can get back to her. But the time for experimenting is beginning to run out. You gotta make it happen. For Lundqvist, this will be your first podium back on return since 2015. Very interesting time here in New Hampshire. Near at the bottom of your screen, the yellow, black, and white, that's the race leader. 2/10 eating away that lap alone. Is the gap going to close this time? It does, by another 2/10. Lundqvist beginning to charge, 41 laps to go. Lundqvist started in 8th position. He's sitting second right now. Brad Neri started in 20th and sits in the race lead. Cody Blackman was the last place qualifier. Started dead last, 26th. He sits third. We talked about this at Kentucky. The last time someone won from last place on the grid was Thomas Rogers, 2017 at Kentucky. No one's replicated it since. It's been over 3 years. Can someone do that now? That is an interesting question. That was also when Kentucky was a 400-mile race. Not 400-lap race. 600 miles. Very interesting night that one was. Thomas Rogers ended up on top there. Cody Blackman trying to repeat defeat here at New Hampshire, a place that a lot of critics were saying was going to be a very uneventful race. Yeah, we've seen how that gone. That is the entire opposite definition of how this race has gone. Ronald Walker started 25th, so both Apex cars start on the last row of the grid. And now they're sitting 3rd and 4th. All the drivers at this point in time should make it to the finish just fine. Everyone was able to make it from more than 70 laps, so they were. If they go green to the end, it'll be 65 laps. Should be pretty easy. Esther Hobson's moved Steffi Porticelli out of the top 10. Porticelli now 11th. Nicole Leckie, last car, 1 lap down. And then Lucian Lachapelle's 2 laps down. And Taya Kurchenko is going to get in the way of Brad Neri here. This is going to be an interesting little struggle. Neri gets by relatively cleanly. Now it's going to be up to Lundqvist to do the same. The gap is closed down to 0.3 of a second. That last lap. Lundqvist clears. Blackman is going to try to do the same. He's going to have a bit of trouble with it as well. Kurchenko's got the cornering speed, just not the straightaway speed. But Blackman clears, and now it's going to be up to Ronald Walker, who will do so with ease. Top 4 made it through. Ishibashi not going to be far behind. She's sitting behind Lucian Lachapelle there in line. Top 4 are all still very much close together. Top 5 are still really much in it. But really, it's the top 4 that's been really together since before the halfway point. For everyone just tuning in, 32 laps to go here in New Hampshire, round 17 of 20. After today, there will be 3 races left in the Champ Car World Series season. Andrew Draco becoming more and more likely to become a two-time IndyCar World Champion. But he's a lap down right now. It's all about drivers who have not won either ever or have not won in more than 5 years. Cody Blackman gets past Siri Lundqvist. So that's the battle for second done. Cody Blackman's about to challenge for his first ever Camp Car World Series win. 30 laps to go. It is showtime here in Loudon. Capacity crowd. We have a show on our hands. Brad Neri in the yellow, black, and white number 50 cars is the race leader. Cody Blackman, we're looking at in the center screen, is second place. Siri Lundqvist for Cherokee GP sits in third. So it's Swift Autosport first, Apex Racing Team second, Cherokee GP third, and then the second Apex car sitting in fourth. Samsung Racing Team Impulse sits fifth, and Escuderia Guia sits sixth. Andrew Draco's drops down to 10th place. So now it's between Draco and Porter-Kelly to figure out who that last spot in the top 10 is going to go to. Porter-Kelly needs that position, and that is further down here. And how close is that battle? It's not. Brad Neri's trying to walk away with the win here in New Hampshire, the Magic Mile, as we talked about in the pre-race. Flocking down the laps, 26 to go, this time by, for Sardinia, Italy's Brad Neri. Gap is 0.85. Just over 3/4 of a second. Looks like that gap has shrunk a little bit between Neri and Blackman. It has, down to 7/10. Drivers might be preparing for one final lunge at Brad Neri. And we know that those lap cars ahead of Brad Neri, are they going to be in the way with less than 25 to go? They might be. That is an awful close sound. This could be a very interesting finish. 1 second even. He opened up the gap by 3/10. Cody Blackman might be using up too much of his tires. Looks like it's going to be more than a second now. Siri Lundqvist is going to try to make something happen here. Gained 300ths that time over Cody Blackman. Cameron Jackson is sitting in 8th. Battling with Gerard Perth to be the first car one lap down. Are the lap cars going to be in the way? Top 4 are all in the screen. Ronald Walker sitting behind Siri Lundqvist. Cody Blackman is closed up by about 2/10 again. Can he get any closer than 0.7? He needs to be a lot closer to start making something happen. Who's got the stronger car to finish this race? All 6 cars on the straightaway. All 6 cars on the lead lap are on the straightaway, excuse me. The gap, once again, down to 0.9. So another 400ths in that lap for Brad Neri. It sounds like Neri's struggling with tire wear, especially the rear tires. A lot slower out of turn 1 and 2. .84 now between Blackman and Neri. Lap cars seem less and less likely to be an issue. Lundqvist at this point holding on, trying to hold on to third to keep her first podium on her return. Gap is still down. Down to .81 from .84, so 300s that time. It's not enough. Marcelli will be in the way. This could be interesting. Neri gonna try to navigate Marcelli as carefully as he can, but as quickly as he can. It's down to half a second. The dirty air's already done a lot. Neri's going to try to get past Marcelli. Marcelli's not nearly as wounded as what Kurachenko is, so this is going to be an interesting little battle. And Cody Blackman's there. Cody Blackman is there. 15 laps to go. Going into turn 3. They're side by side. Blackman trying to make Marcelli more of a pick here. They're still side by side. Blackman using the advantage to come down to 0.2 of a second. Now that's the gap he needed. That's the opening. That's the battle for the lead, and this is the battle for not so much for third anymore. Ronald Walker has fallen off a little bit. Now there's a car between them. Lundqvist sitting pretty firmly in third now, but now it's nose to tail for the lead. 13 laps to go, and it's still an open ballgame. Brad Neri not having the best luck with tire wear right now, but Cody Blackman might have managed it a little bit better. And then lap traffic definitely did not help. Now Brad Neri has got to hold off for 12 more laps. Cody Blackman trying to run an outside line. Trying to run a little bit higher up. The issue now is that now Cody Blackman has to kind of do this on his own. He's got no one to lean on, no traffic to lean on. That makes it a little bit more difficult. This is a bit more, it's a bit harder in clean air. You pull out of these, you pull out of the slipstream and it's kind of like a wall. The history. You face so much more drag. So Cody Blackman's gotta send it. Gotta absolutely send it. Right now it's an Italian, Australian, and Swedish podium. With Siri Lundqvist sitting in third. Siri Lundqvist trying to get Marcelli and LaChapelle out of the way. So 3 Italians in the picture right now. Only one of them matter though. And the one that matters is up front here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this race so far. It's getting ready to be a very interesting little few laps here to finish this one off. A lot of signature battles here in New Hampshire over the years. It's been on and off on the calendar. But it seems to have found a bit of a home. It seems to have found its place. You see the fans standing on the hill on the backstretch. That's got to be an amazing view. Turns 3, 4, down the front straightaway. Neri starting to pull away a little bit more now. Ronald Walker's taking third away from Siri Lundqvist. That is the battle for podium just out of screen. Neri might be pulling away once more. He seems to have gathered himself back up. Neri's opening the gap up to back to about half a second. Yeah, it is half a second now, almost exact. Third on back is picking favorite driver. Siri Lundqvist has fallen back to fifth. Not a great look for Siri Lundqvist. And that is Nicole Lechty. Nicole Lechty could get in the way here. Dirty Air once again playing a factor. Four laps to go. And Cody Blackman's back in it. From half a second down to less than 0.2. This could be Cody Blackman's last serious chance at this. Cody Blackman's running the outside line. It's a line that's worked for defense. Can it work offensively? Oh, it's gonna be difficult. But as long as Lechty continues to give Dirty Air to Neri, it could help. But we're coming to 2 laps to go. Two short miles. It's not very much. That's 44 seconds. That's all that's left in this. Blackman might not have anything left in the tank. It could be a double podium for Apex. But what a drive for Brad Neri. Coming to the white flag this time. Out of turn 4. Cody Blackman's going to have a hell of a lap. White flag in the air here in New Hampshire. Neri leads it. What a season for Swift Autosport. After the tragedy at Indianapolis, Neri's had such an up and down year, up and down season. Out of turn 4 for the final time. For the first time in his career, Brad Neri is a Champ Car race winner. Cody Blackman gets his first podium. Ronald Walker gets his first podium. It's a podium full of firsts. Brad Neri is the winner in New Hampshire. Blackman second, Walker third. Isabel Espinosa takes fourth. Siri Lundqvist lost her tires at the end of that race, finished fifth. Sakura Shibashi sixth. Then it is Gerard Purse seventh, Cameron Jackson eighth, Esther Hofson in ninth, getting a top 10 for Eastern Atlantic. Andrew Draco holding on to the top 10 streak. That is 14 of 17 races for Andrew Draco to be in that top 10 position. Stephanie Porter Kelly kept him in sight, finished 11th. Nicole Lechty almost went 2 laps down, but didn't. Stayed on the 1 lap down club, finished 12th. Lucian Latchapel finished 13th. Keisha Fox 14th. 15th was Simona Leroux. See Lechty coming into her pit box now for Parc Fermé. Ray Taylor 16th. 17th is David Wessel. 18th is Jace Clark. 19th is Patrick Marcelli. 20th is Natalia Kurchenko. Last car running 9 laps down at the end of that race. 6 retirements. Kaylee Zappa was the latest retirement with an engine failure for Honda. Tyler Parker finished 22nd. He was involved in an accident with Mojo Moon and Kiyomitsu Kinoshita. All three drivers cleared from the infield care center after that accident on lap 131. Kinoshita went for a wild ride, finished 24th despite starting on pole. A very disappointing finish for her, given how well she performed all throughout the weekend. Christina Espinoza, her race was over really before it had a chance to begin, out with a gearbox failure. And then Hazel Lacasse out on lap 9 of the race after an accident with Jace Clark. What a race. Brad Neri on the top of the winner's circle. First time since 2017 for the team. Thomas Rogers won at Kentucky for the team in 2017. Brad Neri brings them back. A very interesting chain of events here. For Apex Racing, it's a double podium, the best weekend of that team's career. That team's existence in Champ Car, double podium. Not very often you get to see the minnows really shine, but they shine bright today. That will do it for New Hampshire. An absolute barn burner of a race. That was very exciting from start to finish. The points championship gap only opens by 1 point. 1 point is all that it is. One point. So now it's 51 points in the championship gap. With 3 races to go, it's about to look really hairy. Two weeks' time, Road America. It's Road America, then the Indianapolis Road Course, and then Auto Club Speedway to finish off the season. So we're going to Elkhart Lake in 2 weeks, and then Indianapolis Road Course, which everyone's really excited for. If you ask up and down the paddock, should be an absolute fantastic race. Before the absolute calamities that is the final leg of the Triple Crown and the championship deciding race. We hope you join us. The championship is getting really, really hot. Hotly contested. Ishibashi gained almost 10 points on Andrew Draco there. Not nearly what they were expecting out of that. All in all, a solid day for Sakura Ishibashi. She was the biggest gainer of the championship contenders. So we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. For the Champ Car World Series for New Hampshire Motor Speedway, this has been the NOS Energy 300. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Road America. Take care, everyone.